If everyone could please take your seats, the program is about to begin. Tonight's program is fully accessible for people with hearing loss, with sign language interpreters, real-time captioning, headsets, and loop technology. If you're wearing a hearing aid or cochlear implant with a T-coil, put on your telecoil program or adapter. If you don't have a device, headsets are available outside in the hall. Now, please welcome Heather Baker.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Hearing and Communication's 31st Annual Gala. I'm Heather Baker, and it is truly an honor to stand before you this evening as President of the Board of CHC. On behalf of our entire board, our dedicated Executive Director, Dr. Lori Hannon, our incredible staff, and our CHC clients, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of you for being here tonight and for your support of our mission. Many of you know I started losing my hearing in my late teens and became involved with CHC when I moved to New York as a young adult, desperate to find a community and support for people like myself dealing with hearing loss. The services at CHC and the support that I received were exceptional then, and they are exceptional now. That has not changed. What has changed is the incredible advancement in technology. Today's hearing aids now come equipped with features like smartphone connectivity and automatic noise adaptation. Friends almost seem jealous when my phone rings and I don't need to take out ear pods to hear a conversation. Through Gala Pro, I can get captions on my phone at Broadway shows. And with the use of my mini mic, I can hear my Peloton workouts directly through my hearing aid and cochlear implant, or directly connect to AV systems at board meetings. For those of us with hearing loss, many of these devices can be life-changing. But the struggle to stay connected, even with the best technology, can still feel exhausting and overwhelming. I want you to imagine for a moment being at a noisy restaurant or a wedding with a loud band. You're straining to hear the conversation and feel that you're giving inappropriate responses to questions and comments that you just can't seem to decipher. After a while, you might start thinking, maybe I'll just stop trying. It's not worth the effort anymore. Sadly, if you had hoped for an evening filled with conversations and interpersonal connections, those needs would definitely not be met. That is what it can feel like every day for many people living with hearing loss. It's what it was like for me, and sometimes still is. This is where CHC steps in. Always on top of the latest advancements in technology, CHC clinicians provide individualized care to ensure that each person gets just the right technology they need. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And it doesn't stop just there. CHC also provides services like speech and language therapy, mental health counseling, educational support, and advocacy, offering comprehensive care that transforms lives. It's about getting the right amplification and having the support and confidence to re-engage with the world. CHC has been my lifeline, and I know it's the same for countless others. Even after I received my cochlear implant, an incredible advancement in technology, I still returned to CHC to receive the auditory therapy that I needed to learn how to hear through this amazing device and maximize my hearing potential. And CHC's impact goes far beyond the test booth. From school-based programs for children with hearing loss to a new initiative to provide mental health counseling via teletherapy to college students who are hard of hearing and deaf, CHC is there with support and solutions. We are also excited to celebrate the 30th anniversary of International Noise Awareness Day this coming April, an initiative that CHC founded to educate the public about the impact of noise on hearing health and quality of life. CHC has also been a leader in raising awareness about the importance of treating hearing loss in older adults. We know that untreated hearing loss is linked to depression, increased falls, and cognitive decline. In addition, family members and caregivers are often left struggling with the frustration of simply not being able to communicate with their loved ones. Whether it's providing appropriate amplification, an assistive listening device, information about captioning apps, or communication tips, CHC provides the support needed to help people with hearing loss and their loved ones stay connected and thrive. And tonight, we are proud to honor Dr. Vinton Cerf, known as one of the fathers of the internet, and clearly one of the most inspiring figures in the world of technology, whose innovations help people stay connected around the world. None of the work CHC does would be possible without your generosity. Nearly half of CHC's budget comes from philanthropy, and your contributions tonight ensure that these services are available to everyone, regardless of their ability to pay. Before we move forward, I'd like to extend a special thank you to those who made this evening possible. A heartfelt thanks to our gala co-chairs, Helene and Jim Rosenthal, Victoria and Paul Orlin, Sherry Brasner and Jeff Cohen, Madeline and Pedro Escudero, Charlie and Darlene Winkler, Gabrielle Pekarski and Glenn Popick, and of course, my husband Felix. And to Jamie Magid, thank you for all of your outreach to our participating restaurants. The leadership and dedication each of you has brought us together tonight, and we are deeply grateful. I'd also like to ask our board members and the CHC staff to stand and be recognized for their unwavering dedication. You are truly the heart of this organization, ensuring that no one with hearing loss is left behind. As we reflect on the incredible advancements in technology and the compassionate care that CHC provides, I am deeply proud to be part of a community that puts people first and strives to provide all they need to connect to life. Thank you all for being here tonight. Together, we are making sure that communication truly has no limits. And now it is my pleasure to introduce my fellow board member, Stacy Helfstein, who will share her own powerful story of how CHC has changed her life.
Thank you, Heather. It's truly wonderful to be here tonight, and I echo Heather's sentiment. It's heartening to see so many who share and support CHC's vision of communication without limits for individuals with hearing loss. I'm told it takes someone an average of 7 years from the time they suspect they have a hearing loss until they actually do something about it. With over 48 million people in the US affected by hearing loss, that amount of time may seem like a long time to wait. But when I was faced with my own hearing loss a few years ago, I didn't do anything right away. I have a history of hearing loss in my family. My mother, Shelley Einhorn, who some of you may know, was a dedicated board member of CHC for 13 years. She started losing her hearing at age 28 and began wearing hearing aids. Unfortunately, hearing aids were not what they are today, and I watched her struggle for many years. So my impression of having hearing aids was not positive. It wasn't until my mom got cochlear implants 15 years ago that her life changed and she was finally able to hear. She actually hears the best in our family now. A little cochlear implant plug there. So being that I didn't have a positive impression of hearing aids, when it came time to address my own hearing loss, I didn't want to. I avoided doing anything for quite some time until my mom started to notice and began talking to me about it. As any good mother does, she encouraged me, but didn't push and knew I would have to address it when I was ready. Soon after that, I had lunch with a good friend, someone I really admire and look up to. We sat down to lunch, and I noticed she was wearing hearing aids. Wow, I thought, I had no idea. I asked her to share her experience with hearing aids, and it was extremely positive. She said, I noticed I couldn't hear. I had my hearing tested, got these hearing aids, and now I could hear better. That was it. End of story, no big deal. I left lunch feeling closer to getting hearing aids. It wasn't until I took my daughter to the eye doctor and missed an important detail of the visit that I woke up and realized I need to do something. I was really starting to miss important information in my everyday life. Of course, I knew what I needed to do. Because of my mom's involvement with CHC, I knew exactly who to email. I emailed Nancy Nadler the next week and asked her to put me in touch with an audiologist so I could have my hearing evaluated. The end of the story is positive for me because a few weeks later, I was at CHC having my hearing tested and being evaluated for hearing aids by the amazing head audiologist, Michelle DeStefano. She was kind. Yes, you can clap if you want to. Yes, she deserves that. She was kind and supportive and really made the whole experience very positive. Going to CHC after many years, I walked in and it felt familiar to me. The same warm and inviting place it was when I was there with my mom. Lori Hannon and Nancy Nadler immediately came out to greet me. And Lori took time to talk to me, read my hearing evaluation, and offer support. I felt relieved that day after I left, and I knew I was on my way to hearing again. I remember the day I went to pick up my hearing aids. My mom tried to manage my expectations, saying, it might not be perfect, and it will take some time getting used to. Remember, as I said, she didn't have a positive experience. But it was just the opposite for me. I put them in, I could hear better, and I was so happy. It did take a few days to get used to hearing all the sounds I hadn't heard in a while, and Michelle was on hand to help me make adjustments remotely. I've had my hearing aids for a year and a half, and I can honestly say it's nothing like my mom experienced. Hearing aids have come a long way, and technology is so much better now. I knew that untreated hearing loss leads to isolation, depression, an increased risk of falls, and that new research even links to significantly greater risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Yet even with my background in mental health and an understanding of critical link between hearing loss, communication, and mental well-being, I had resisted. What a shame that I waited so long, because now I can't imagine my life without them. If there is anyone out there tonight who is struggling with hearing loss, and I suspect there is, I encourage you to take action. Don't wait. And of course, schedule your hearing evaluation at CHC. Thank you.
Please welcome this evening's auctioneer, Charles Anton.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, very loud. We just want to make sure the mic is working correctly. Can I just see by a show of hands really quickly, who is at the CHC Gala for the first time? First gala ever out of 31? Get those hands up. All right, that's 10,000 each. We're done. Good night, everybody. No, but now I know several things now. I know that your elbows work correctly, that you're a generous group, that you respond well to suggestion, and all those things will work in our favor as we raise money for CHC tonight. Now, we have everybody's favorite type of fundraising auction tonight, which is very, very short. It is one lot, but it is an exceptional lot. It is tickets in 2 Saturdays from now, a week from this Saturday, to Saturday Night Live. VIP tickets to Saturday Night Live. You're not sleeping out in front of Rockefeller Center to get these tickets. You're going to get them tonight. And the way that you're going to get them is you're going to make a donation to CHC this evening. And now the host of this Saturday Night Live is John Mulaney. Are you, those of you who are oohing and awing, you better be bidding in about 5 seconds now. And the musical guest is Chapel Roan. So for anyone here over the age of 18, do we know who Chapel Roan is? Everybody knows? You do? Is that a bid? Are you bidding or just raising your hand? You ready? All right. She's very famous on Instagram and so forth. She's blowing up. She's the next Taylor Swift. All right, so ready? VIP, 2 tickets to Saturday Night Live, 2 Saturdays from now on November 2nd. I want to see a lot of hands in the air, so we're going to start the bidding a little bit low because I want to see a lot of hands in the air. How about $1,000 to open? Can you get these lights out of my eyes? 1,000, 1,500. Is that 2, sir? 2,000. Can you bring those? They don't need to see me. I need to see them. We're at 2,000 right here, center of the room. Who'll say 2,500? 2,500. There it is. Go to 3,000, sir. 3,000. Say 35. 3,500. 4,000? We could just have a gala with you two next year. 4,000. Would you go 45, ma'am? How about 45? Where? New bidder? Where, over here? Are you bidding? Do you have $5,000? You had a bar mitzvah? Holy cow. Spending his bar mitzvah money for CHC, folks. That is how you do it. It's too late. Is this table like the junior board or something? What is this table going on? Yeah. Okay. All right, so unclear if they will actually be making this donation, but $5,000 is the bid. Ma'am, would you like to lose to a 13-year-old, or would you like to keep bidding? That's your son? Does he have his own bank account, or is he still funded by the parents? 5,000 is all for CHC. Let's go one more. What do you think? 5,500, new bidder down front. Too slow, ma'am. 5,500. Would you like 6? Otherwise, you'll be sitting at home in your pajamas. Oh, 6,000, new bidder. 6,500. Yes, finish your wine, sir. We'll wait. Oh, it's just water? Go 7. 7,000. Thank you. 75. Go 8, sir. One more. 8. Thank you. 85. Go 9. This is how it works. It's like ping pong, tennis. 8,500, the bid is here. Would you go 9? 9,000. Round me up to 10, sir? What do you think? $10,000. Round of applause there. What should we do, sir? You're good. All right. So 9,000 was totally cool. 11,000 is ridiculous, is what you said. You set your, all right, I get it. That bid is at 10,000. Are you bidding, raising your hand there, or no? You're just waving your hand at a fundraising auction for no reason. Super confusing for me. All right, we're at 10,000 here. Do I hear 11 anywhere? Ma'am, I want you to imagine yourself on November 2nd, sitting in your pajamas, eating Cheerios on your couch. This gentleman's having the time of his life listening to Chapel Roan. He's at the after party. Kate McKinnon is there. Who knows who shows up? I don't know. $10,000, the bid is front. Going once, folks. Going twice. All done this side. We're done there at 10, 11,000. This gentleman wants to drag it out all night. I don't know. I have nowhere to be. I can do this forever. So 11,000. Would you like 12, sir? For 12,000. He's back. What do you think? Should we go 13? 13,000. How about 14? This guy here is peer pressuring you. I don't know if that affects you at all. I don't know how happy you were in high school, if that works on you or not, but 13,000 is the bid. Going once at 13,000. Going twice at 13,000. Who are you looking at over there? Is that your financial advisor? Who is that? 14,000. He's back. New bidder now in at 14. Would you like 15, sir? There's a lot of anxious looks. All right, I think your strategy has worked, sir. $14,000. The gentleman seated right here trying to outblazer me tonight with that window pane. $14,000 going once at 14. This time for real, going twice at 14. Fair and final warning at table number 17 at $14,000, all for CHC. Sold there. Well done. And with that, I'm going to hand you back off to Heather, I believe. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you so much, Charles. And congratulations to the auction winners. And Stacy, thank you so much for sharing your story. And now I would like to introduce a very special guest, Eddie Orlin.
I would like to start by thanking my friends and family and all of you who came here tonight to support CHC. As I began writing this speech, I pondered the various ways that CHC has affected my life for the better. However, as I thought deeply about what they do for me, I realized that much of the hard work is done seamlessly behind the scenes, without me even knowing. Almost all the support that I receive, both in and out of school, can be credited to CHC. Their efforts have become so second nature to me that oftentimes I do not understand how difficult my life would be if it were not for them. They do everything from developing unique hearing aids that both protect my hearing and amplify sounds, to working with my teachers ensuring that I get the needed accommodations from my school. All of this provides me with a sense of confidence and allows me to focus on my schoolwork and extracurricular activities. What I'd come to realize during this moment of self-reflection is that all the staff at CHC work tirelessly so that kids like me can succeed and achieve any goals that they set for themselves. For myself, I set a goal of building computers for the VA so that veterans can use them to communicate easily with their family and friends and have convenient access to job opportunities online. So when CHC asked me to partake in the activities involving in tonight's honoree, you can imagine how excited I was to have the opportunity to interview and be a part of introducing Vinton Cerf. Every person in this room has been influenced by Vint's work. While working at DARPA, he developed the Internet Protocol System. Some of you may know it as the Internet. Later in his career, while leading the design of the MCI mail service, he developed the first iteration of email. Still to this day, Vint continues to work on the Internet, assisting with the development of things such as the cloud, machine learning, and other technological advances. He is a true inspiration, and meeting him has been one of the most memorable moments of my life. He has been commended on numerous occasions for his life's achievements in the advancement of technology for the world and has received countless awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor a civilian can receive in the United States. He continues to change the way we communicate and advocates for people with disabilities, especially those with hearing loss. I was recently granted the honor of being welcomed into the home of Vint and his wife Sigrid for an interview. While spending time touring their home, I learned that despite all of his vast accomplishments and awards, he remains incredibly humble, prioritizing the display of his collection of toy alligators over medals and trophies. It is easy to assume that a person with a lifelong career in technology might be disconnected from the everyday human experience, but Vint is anything but. He is a true gift to humanity.
Eddie, you made it. Welcome to Casa Surf. Come
Thank
on
you.
in. Let me show you the library. We greet our guests here a lot. This thing is the trophy that went along with the Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering. The team of us that did the internet and the World Wide Web were honored. Here's a 1963 port.
Oh, wow.
It's a probably a little older than you are,
A little bit.
but I can tell you it tastes great.
What attracted you to the field of technological science?
My hearing loss didn't become a problem until I was about 13, and then it started to show up. I would sit in the front of the class, but I couldn't hear the questions in the back. So I started wearing hearing aids about that time. And I discovered that when you're wearing behind-the-ear hearing aids and you're making out, they squeal. And, it ruins the mood. But technology has made a huge difference for me, not just for hearing aids, but things like electronic mail, which came along in 1971, because having telephone conference calls where you couldn't see anybody was much harder than just reading email. So for me, technology has made a big difference in the course of my career, and I've tended to work in places where email is the norm.
Similar to me, I like to work in areas where I could not have to speak as much as texting or emailing, because it just makes it so much easier to communicate with other people.
I hear that you actually make computers for other people. Can you tell me a little bit about how did that happen, and what are you doing now with all that?
Through my school, I actually started a charity where we raise money and we get a group of people and we come together and we build computers for veterans.
Seeing people using technology to overcome some disabilities raised a great deal of sense of empathy for me, recognizing that people with various kinds of disabilities have challenges literally day by day and hour by hour. And it has instilled in me a belief that people with disabilities are among the most creative people imaginable. My wife has adopted a very clever tactic. She has cochlear implants, but before that, she was lip reading exclusively. Sigrid lost her hearing when she was 3 years old, so she was lip reading. That's all she could do.
Well, with the hearing aid, I could hear vowels. With
Which doesn't make any sense because you can't hear the consonants. That's all she could hear was just vowels.
Before any of the classes began, early in the summer, I would anticipate anything that I might miss.
You did memorize a lot of poetry.
Oh, I adored them, yes.
So sometimes the teachers would spring exams, and of course she couldn't hear the teacher.
And I would be so upset that I would go back into the classroom at the end of the school day, and I would write the entire poem from memory, over and over.
The CHC was formed around 1910s, and it was started by someone who was challenged by hearing impairment to function in a hearing society, and that challenge has not disappeared. So CHC is there not only to help educate people about what alternative assistive technology can be, but also to help teach them how to use it. You don't just stick a hearing aid on somebody and poof, you're done. You have to learn how to use them. And CHC understands that and goes to a great deal of trouble to make their lives better. So CHC really deserves an enormous amount of credit for having done this for 100 years. I'm really looking forward to long friendship.
Me too.
The Eleanor Roosevelt Humanitarian Award is CHC's highest honor, named for Eleanor Roosevelt, who herself had hearing loss and was an honorary board member and passionate supporter of CHC's mission. Each year, the award recognizes individuals or companies who share our vision of communication without limits. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to present this year's Eleanor Roosevelt Humanitarian Award to Dr. Vinton Cerf. Congratulations, Vin. We are honored to celebrate you tonight for your groundbreaking and extraordinary achievements, and also for the compassion and leadership you show in making sure that communication truly has no limits. Your relentless advocacy for accessibility and inclusion has not only transformed technology, but has created a world where people of all abilities can connect and communicate without barriers.
Eleanor Roosevelt Humanitarian Award presented to Vinton Cerf, a visionary leader whose life work revolutionized and expanded communication access for all.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is certainly a special evening for me, and I hope it's a special evening for all of you as well. First, let me say thank you to all of those who have made it possible to convene this wonderful evening and who made the decision to make this award to me. It's very, very deeply moving to see such a collection of people who care deeply about communication and hearing and want to do something about it. I should also remind you that you've just proven theorem number 208, which reads, if you feed them, they'll come. And, I have a special announcement to make. There were two people who were bidding against me for 2 bottles of wine. One of them was the Chateau Mission Aubryon. Is that individual in the room here? Will the person that is managing the auction deliver the wine to her? This is my gift to you. Thank you. And for the person who was bidding against me on the Don Melchior Cabernet, who is that? Is there a hand up somewhere? No one is going to take the bottle of the Don Melchior? I'm willing to give this. I'm not seeing any hands up. Was this a remote thing? Well, okay, Sigrid, we're taking the Don Melchior home to us. First of all, this is a special audience because I don't need to tell you what a cochlear implant is. You'd be surprised how many people don't know. But I do have a story to tell. Sigrid was born with normal hearing, my wife. But she lost her hearing when she was 3 years old. Her mother took her to the John Tracy Clinic in Los Angeles, where they trained her mother and Sigrid to retain her speech because she had acquired speech by that time. But she spent the next 50 years lip reading. She had no hearing to speak of. And then in 1996, she got her first cochlear implant. And it worked spectacularly well. In fact, 20 minutes after they turned the speech processor on, she picked up the phone and called me. And we had our first conversation in 30 years of marriage over the phone. It wasn't a deep, yes, please, you should. I mean, it was amazing. So I get home and I discover I got a 53-year-old teenager at home. Those are teenagers of the past. Today they text, but back then they talked. I couldn't get her off the phone. And she would take any of the calls from the marketers. Now, now you have to understand, I'm the Senior Vice President of Engineering at MCI, and AT&T calls Sigrid to see if they can get her to switch. So, of course, she answers the phone. You know, hello, who are you? Where are you? Oh, you're in India. Gee, your English is pretty good. You know, where did you learn that? She goes on for about half an hour, and this poor person on the other end of the phone finally says, you know, are you going to switch? And she says, well, thanks, but my husband works for MCI, but thanks for calling. And then she decided that no decibel would go undetected, so she got patch cords to plug into the airplane, you know, movie, so she can hear the movie and not the screaming kid that's 2 seats away. She decides to get an FM transceiver, so that in a situation like this, I could be wearing an FM transmitter and she'd be picking up a signal from 150 feet away. And she decided that she wanted to hear words that she hadn't heard over those 50 years, so she called the library. And she said, hello, remember, she's on the phone. I'd like to sign up for recorded books for the blind. And they said, oh, sure, no problem. Name, address, phone number. Then they said, you're blind, aren't you? And she says, no, I'm deaf. And there's this long pause. She subsequently ended up listening to 520 books and recorded books, and now knows accents and mispronunciations and a bunch of other stuff. Look, what you all know and what you've been hearing about tonight is all about assistive technology. This organization, which has survived for over 100 years, has clearly adapted and managed to evolve to take advantage of the technologies of the day. Not very many organizations are able to do that kind of legerdemain, to become and stay relevant over this long period of time, over so many new technologies, and I think they deserve a special round of applause for that. This award has very special meaning for me for several reasons, not least of which is that my colleague at Google, Dmitry Konevsky, received this award a couple of years ago. He was the inventor of Live Transcribe, which Sigrid and I use all the time to take advantage of its capability. I can tell you that Dmitry and I and other colleagues at Google have evolved that system, and there are some new things coming. I can't tell you precisely what they are right now, but you'll find that they will have evolved significantly at scale. And we're very excited about that. The last point I wanted to make is that those of you who have not seen a film called Eleanor, which is all about Eleanor Roosevelt's effort to get the United Nations to adopt the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, should see that film. There's something indomitable about this woman. She would not take no for an answer. She would not lie down and let anybody walk over her. She managed to get that thing passed by one vote. A very, very significant accomplishment indeed. And so to be the recipient of that award means a great deal to me, and I'm sure it means a great deal to the others who preceded me. So for all of you who've made this possible, I thank you from the heart. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you, Vin. Your pioneering work has truly revolutionized global communication and has had a profound impact on our lives, especially for those with hearing loss. Thank you for opening doors to a more inclusive world. I'd also like to personally thank Amanda Lippitz and her incredible production company for their vision and generosity in creating the beautiful video celebrating the remarkable contributions of Vinton Cerf. Thank you, Amanda. And now I am thrilled to introduce CHC's Executive Director, Dr. Lori Hannon.
Well, I didn't know where to start, but this is where I'll start. Thank you, Vint, so much. Your comments were so meaningful to many of us, and especially to me. It's an honor to have you and Sigrid here with us. Your pioneering work has truly revolutionized global communication and has had a profound impact on all of our lives, especially for those with hearing loss. Thank you for opening doors to a more inclusive world. And I'd also, want to acknowledge Eddie Orlin. Wow, you're really only 15 years old? I'm looking at his parents. Your achievements are nothing short of remarkable. With everything that you've done, we can only imagine what's waiting for you in the future. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces here. As many of you may know, I started my career as a pediatric audiologist. Throughout my career, I've witnessed incredible advancements, from newborn hearing screenings to digital hearing aids and cochlear implants, each new tool unlocking possibilities that we could only dream of in the past. Yet there's one thing that has never changed: the look of uncertainty on a parent's face when they hear the diagnosis, your baby is deaf. It's a look filled with worry, with fear, and uncertainty as their minds race with 1,000 questions about their child's future. I would sit across from them and say, your baby really will be okay. With the right support, they'll thrive. They would nod, wanting to believe me, but in their eyes, there was still that flicker of doubt. How could their baby possibly be okay if they were deaf? In those moments, I would find myself wishing I could fast forward to show them the child that I knew they could become, how I knew they could be happy, thriving, achieving milestones they hadn't yet even dared to think about. Tonight, I'm thrilled that we can all fast forward together a little bit for a glimpse of what that future can be. Some of you who've attended this gala may remember a mom who spoke about her journey, traveling from Afghanistan to the United States, arriving at CHC's doors with their young daughter, Nahal. Appropriate response for such a cute child. I remember the day our clinicians first brought Nahal's situation to my attention. She was just 2.5 years old and had just recently received cochlear implants, but needed more help. Nahal had no language and was just beginning to learn to detect sound. Her mother, alone in a foreign country, was trying really hard to navigate a complicated system of services to ensure Nahal could get on the right track and build her communication skills. I knew right away that we had to help this family, regardless of their ability to pay and regardless of how long it would take insurance to kick in. They came in on a Tuesday, and within a week, Nahal was sitting in her first session at CHC. She's been coming to CHC for speech and language therapy, educational support, and family programming ever since. As Nahal progressed, we partnered with her family every step of the way. When she needed to enroll in preschool, CHC helped the family find just the right school. For kindergarten, we did the same. And those of you in New York know that's not so easy. Navigating hearing loss as a parent of a young child isn't always a straight path, even when you're coming from around the corner, as opposed to halfway around the world. There are twists, turns, and bumps along the way. But through it all, in addition to state-of-the-art services, CHC offers hope, guidance, and unwavering commitment to see every child thrive. None of this would be possible without the generosity of people like you in this room. Your support helps children like Nahal speak their first words, reach their potential in school, and grow into remarkable individuals who give back to their communities. And now it's time to fast forward. Nahal is 10 years old today, and rather than hearing more from me, I'll let Nahal speak for herself because she can. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Nahal Farid. Nahal, please come on up.
Hi, my name is Nahal. You might be thinking that I'm not like most kids. I was born in Afghanistan, I'm deaf, and my dad couldn't come to America with me until I was 8 years old. But in reality, I'm just a normal 10-year-old. I love playing soccer and drawing, and my friends call me a comedian because I am pretty funny. Most of all, I'm just like all kids because I don't like homework. Now let's back it up. It took time and a lot of hard work for me to get to where I am now. I came to America with my mom and brother when I was 2 years old. My brother Damun was only 10 years old. Even though it was such a big decision for my mom to leave home with both of us, because when my mom found out I was deaf, she knew there was no way I could learn to talk or even go to school in Afghanistan. When we got to New York City, my mom worked very hard to make sure I got cochlear implants. Then she found CHC, and that's where I met Camille, my speech therapist. She taught me not only how to listen and speak, but most important lesson of all is that when you lose, you don't get upset and you definitely don't throw yourself to the floor. CHC is also where Dana taught me to read, so by the time I got to kindergarten, I already knew how to read. Camille and Dana also helped my mom make sure I was always at the best schools. Now I'm in fourth grade at Marymount School. My favorite subject is recess, but I also like social studies. After school, I'm in a drama class, and I'm going to be the mouse in our performance, Frog and Toad. When I grow up, I want to build a computer business and make the best computer there has ever been. My mom would say I am where I am now because I've been coming to CHC. But I think it's because of my mom and everything my mom has done to get me to where I am now. Thank you. Thank you, Mom, for giving me the best life I could ever have. And thank you for Darwin for being such a good big brother. And Dad for always being there for me, even though it was so far away for many years. Mom, can you please get up?
Wow, Nahal, I'm so proud of you. And Lori, you're so right. I remember being that parent coming into CHC, not only being not certain about Nahal's future, but terrified. That changed almost immediately as Nahal started speech and language therapy at CHC. And look at her now. She stands before you, tall, confident, using her voice to tell her own story. Something that once I couldn't imagine that is possible. I want to take this moment to thank everyone at CHC and each of you. Because of your help, CHC is able to help families like mine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please welcome back our auctioneer, Charles Anton.
Fantastic. Keep it going for Nahal a little bit. Well done, Nahal. We have nothing left to sell. What we have actually is the most important part of the evening, and that's simply an ask. As you all are well aware, 31st Gala, CHC has been going for a century, and it's because of folks like you. You've already made a commitment being here, and we're going to ask you to go a little bit deeper. So this is how this is going to work. I'm going to start at my top number and work my way down, and if you feel comfortable making a donation at that level, please raise your hand. Now you'll notice we don't have paddles, there's no note cards, so what we're going to ask to do is raise your hand, and as you can see, some of our volunteers are now fanning out throughout the room. What you're going to do is raise your hand until someone comes over to you. So wave your hand, keep it up, someone will come over, take your information, and we'll go on from there. So we're going to start at our top number and work our way down, and we're going to see how much we can raise. And this is going to take 45, 60 minutes, and then, no, I'm just kidding. We're going to do this very quickly, and I think you're going to be impressed how much we can raise in the next 10 minutes. So let's start at the top number to kick things off. Will anyone here start us out at $50,000? Anyone at $50,000? Anyone at right down front? Thank you very much. And we have one here in the center and one here in the center as well. That's $150,000 right off the bat, folks. Again, please make sure we've got 2 here in the front. Make sure your hands stay up until someone comes over to you. You don't get to raise your hand and then just put it down and pretend like it never happened when the applause stops, folks. You have to keep your hand up. So we've kicked things off. We're already at 150,000 and counting. Anyone else at 50? Are we good? All right. Let's keep it going then. How about 25,000? We're right down front. Thank you, sir. Our honoree this evening. Thank you very much. And we have one right here as well. And that brings our running total to $200,000 right off the bat. And one right down here as well. That's $225,000. Those volunteers. And we have another one here. One more right here. Thank you very much. That's $250,000. And you see one more? $275,000, one right here. And this one guy clapped for you, sir, so you should feel good about that. We're 200. Is there one more to get us up to an even 300,000? Or should we just wait? Thank you, right down front. 300,000 rounds us up. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's say a rig round of $300,000 in the last 5 minutes. Well done. Let's keep it going, though. We don't need to stop there. Anyone at 15,000? Anyone at 15? Right down front to kick us off. $315,000 right off the bat there. Thank you very much, sir. Those volunteers need to move quickly. 315. Anyone bring us up to 330? At 315, we're going to keep going then. 315,000. Are we all done at 315,000? All right. Oh, right in the center of the room. Thank you very much, ma'am. That's 330,000 now. And keep it going. Remember to keep your hands up until someone comes over to you. I know it feels a little silly, just holding your hand up in the air as I go on. We're at 330,000. All right, our next level is exceptionally important, folks, because at this level, we have a donor here this evening who would prefer to remain anonymous. However, at the 10,000 level and below, they've agreed to match every donation 1-to-1. So, you look like the type of people who wake up every morning with your alarm clock radio set to NPR. So you know how this works. $1 equals $2, $500 equals $1,000. You get it, right? It's 1-to-1. The math is exceptionally simple. So we're at 330,000. Every time you raise your hand, your donation will be doubled. So to kick us off with a $10,000 donation, which will then be doubled, do I hear 10,000 anywhere? We're at 330. Right down front in red, thank you. That's one here. One here, thank you, sir. Ma'am here, that's 3. Let's get that applause going. We can do better than 3. Anyone else at 10? All right, that brings our... Is anyone else? All right, we're at 390,000 now. If we can get one more, that'll break 400, are we sure? Anyone in back? If you bid in back, we will move you to the front for the 2025 gala. I promise you that. We're at 390,000, and still, everything's still matched. Ready? How about $5,000? First two, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep those hands up. That's 5. That's 25,000, brings us to 50,000. That's $440,000 right there. One in back there, 450,000, 460,000. Thank you. Remember to keep your hands up until a volunteer comes over to you. 470,000. Well done, sir. Because all these 5,000s are doubled, of course. Anyone else? We're at 470,000. Can we bring it to 500,000 right now? 475. We're going to get there. I promise you that. 470,000. Further bids at 470? All right, let's keep it going then. We'll go quickly now. How about 2,500? Who will say 25? Let's get all the hands up. Keep them up. All right, ready? 1. Keep those hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 480,000. 5. Thank you. 6. That's 6, 7, 8, and if we can get 2 more, 9. Is there one more? You see someone? Are you pointing or are you signing? What are you doing? What? And here's another one, 10. Well done. So 10 times 20, 400 is 25,000 plus double there. Now we're well over 500,000. Remember to keep your hands up, please. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Keep them up. Keep them up. All right. Our next level is exceptionally important as well because that same donor who agreed to match 1-to-1 at this level, the $1,000 level and below, they're matching 2-to-1. So every time you raise your hand, it's tripled. So if you raise it for 1,000, that's a $3,000 donation going to CHC. Now, how this is going to work and for those of you who have been here in the past know how this is work. So at the center of every table, there's a bowl filled with pink bags. At this point, I would ask the most responsible looking, not you, Vin, the most responsible looking person at every table to grab it. And it's important that you take the bag with either your name on it or the name of someone who looks richer than you. So someone hand out these bags. And so this is the part of the evening where we make the fundraising exceptionally complicated for our volunteers. That's what we're going to do now. So in this bag are poker chips. And each of those poker chips has a denomination on it starting at $1,000 and going down to $25. Now, if you want to make it super easy for our volunteers, just take the bag and don't even open it and put it into the bins coming around. And that will be a $1,900 donation to CHC. However, if there is a smaller denomination that you wish to donate, open that bag and take out that coin. And what's going to happen now is our volunteers, come on guys with the buckets, fan out throughout the room. Come closer, come into the middle of the room. You don't need to stand in the periphery. And let's start it right at the top of the thing. Once you got them out, would anyone raise their token at $1,000? Who will say $1,000? Put it up and drop it in the white buckets going around. $1,000. These were actually the spit buckets for the tasting earlier. And we've emptied them, we've sanitized them. So drop your coin in there. And let's hear those clinks as we go around the room. Raise your hands at 1,000. And now raise your hand if you'd like to give 500. Raise your hand at 1,000 or 500, everyone. And I'm going to lose track. We're well over 500. Remember, every single one is tripled now. Every time you raise your hand, it's tripled. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Our goal tonight is 100 participation at some level. So get your hand up at some level. 500s, any more at 500. How about 250? 250 or 100 or 50 or 25. If you want to give any amount from 1,000 to 25, raise your hand, get those coins up. And I will remind you, you do not need to give only one. You can give as many as you want. Any permutation is allowed. $1,025, $750, $525. I want to hear those clinks going around the room. It also makes it much easier for us to clean up if all of those poker chips are in the buckets. And I will leave you with this, folks. You just raised well over $500,000 for CHC. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Thank you to everyone who spent their evening for us. Enjoy SNL, sir. Enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Be sure that each one of those poker chips ends up in one of these white buckets here. Good night, everybody. Congratulations.